We're number
Hey,
one of
good-
the new year.
Good morning, everybody. Colin, VJ, and Kelly here. Episode 1 of year number 2.
Or 50, or 53. Take your pick.
We're not
Right.
starting over, I guess. Okay, we'll go with 53. Okay, episode 53. Here we are beginning the next chapter. How's that?
Yes.
Thanks
sounds
everybody
great.
for tuning in. If there's anybody out there in podcast world, thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And if not, we're going to have a good time anyway. Fellas, how is your week? I thought it was Thursday this morning, so
Right.
it's not. So that's the week's been going good, but it was a little bit different when I said to my wife, why she doesn't work Thursdays. I said, why are you getting up? And she's like, I have to go to work. And I'm like, oh, I was thinking it was Thursday.
And that perfectly fits with our conversation today, because before the show, we were talking about how like it feels like we have no time.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's such a funny problem because I don't think I ever valued my time before. Like it's
fair.
one of those things where if I look back at my life, I always had time. And then I became a podcaster, and then I became an entrepreneur, and then I became a coach. And now it's like, where is all my time? And it's my fault. But at the same time, I still look at it and I'm like, well, I'm fighting for every spare hour, which is crazy. But that's literally the world that I live in now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because VJ texted me yesterday and said, hey, your website's down. Could just be a GoDaddy thing or whatever. And I was saving it, VJ, until now. I know exactly what happened. And I'm going to let you know. So I've been minimizing subscriptions and all this stuff. And then I found out I was paying GoDaddy for a bunch of emails from a business I don't even have anymore. And they just keep renewing, auto renew. So about a week ago, I said, no, I'm not auto renewing. And I disconnected my own website.
That's okay. That literally happened to me with the capital BD website this year too.
So VJ was really, really good about it. He's like, you know what? These things happen. It could just be a GoDaddy thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell him yet. I know it's not a GoDaddy thing. I know I unsubscribed from my own website.
It's not a GoDaddy. It's a no money.
It's a
no money thing.
So anyway, so I quickly went in and I hit whatever subscription and it billed me, but I don't think it was actually going to conk me out. I was just so mad that I was paying all these fees that I wasn't quite sure which one, so I just deleted them, and so now I know better.
It is. It is actually crazy. What we do is like we regularly check the sites, Colin. I mean, didn't mean to make it a Zadwell thing, but like we regularly check on thing, at least on a weekly, on a routinely basis. And I saw it was down. Then I said everything. It was actually live on everything that we had actually hosted and deployed from the cloud. And suddenly it wouldn't load up. I was wondering what's actually happening. Then let me text Colin right away. I was back up last night, so happy to see that.
It was weird how it was back up after I went back in and said, yeah, okay, that one's okay.
There we go.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness, guys.
So VJ, I was talking to Kelly this morning, and that's what we were talking about. We just have our weekly call, and just how, through time, like I was like, no, I don't have time for this. I have to figure out now why my website's not working. And I'm the most inept person when it comes to technology. So I'm going to have to not tell VJ that. I'm going to have to figure this out on my own. So that was a simple solution, but it made me think we don't have time. Like it's our own fault, right? Because we stack our days. It's like stacking TV. What are we going to watch, right?
Yeah.
Well, I stack my day. And at the end of the day, there's just no time. There's no more me left. But that's a me problem. So how do we get to not being in that position? That's what Kelly and I were talking about a bit on our earlier call.
Yeah. Like what it came down to is I said to Colin, I haven't felt ahead in a really long time. And it's not that we're not ahead. Like, there's certain things in my life I am so far ahead. I think I might take a record for being so far ahead. I think on the BDP, we're actually recorded to about October of 2026. So on a certain level, being ahead, we are miles ahead there. But there's other aspects of my life where it's like, okay, but now I need production time. Now I want to launch my new show and I need recording time to do interviews and produce that show. And then, we have other guest stuff we have to do. Every time we release a show, we do clips now. We do all sorts of stuff. So you quickly find that you're fighting for every single hour. And so on one hand, I'm probably more efficient than I've ever been in my entire life because I know the power of a focused hour and I take advantage of it. But on the other hand, I still find myself in this weird scenario where I'm still trying to meet new people. I'm still trying to make time for meeting new people, interviews, introduction conversations, things like that. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I think I need to really lay off on that. And it's not something that I really want to lay off on, but I'm recognizing that I really need, let's call it 5 to 6 hours a week where I can do catch up work, where I can deal with the crap, like the backup of software, the backup of learning new audio interfaces, new computers with my new Mac, right? Like, we have to be also making time to not just work, but learn and make time to do the catch up work that we've been putting off.
Well, that's the problem is, like you said, 5 to 6 hours. Well, that's another day.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is.
But based on that, is it because we're not actually focused and focused and dialed into what we're doing? And the reason I think about that is I heard the analogy again the other day about the two guys going out to chop wood, right? And every hour the one guy would disappear for a little bit. The other guy just keeps hacking away. And at the end of the day, the one guy, he produces twice as much and they can't figure it out. Well, he's going to sharpen his axe, right? and that's learning, right? Are we taking enough time to learn or use new technology to make that happen for us, right? Is it working in the background? That's VJ's world, obviously, right?
Yeah.
How do you make technology or AI work for you? And I'm certainly trying to do that in everything we do. And I was talking to Kelly this morning again about just the Hypervac website, the store, the e-commerce store, that type of thing. And everything we're doing on there is trying to not take away people's work or jobs. It's trying to make them better. It's trying to make it more fluid, right? And we found that we were, Kelly actually laughed when I told him we were our own worst enemy because VJ, one thing we weren't doing is we didn't put the price of a truck on the site because we want people to phone. So then our developer said, well, isn't that the opposite of why you have a store? So people are... And I'm like, huh.
Right.
So in essence, we were making it, more bells and whistles, so more phone calls because people can't get the information. So then I said to Kelly, just imagine you go onto Amazon and you have to phone, hello, Jeff Bezos? Do you have any black t-shirts?
How much are they?
Do you have more than one distributor?
Right.
So kind of not knowing, we were dating ourselves back to the beginning of the internet, making it even harder. Here's what you could buy, but you have to phone us.
Right. Well, and it's, you know what, though? That's just an old way of doing business, though, right? If you go back to the mid 2010s, it was not common to have any pricing on anything expensive, period. Because the idea was, well, they're not going to buy it through the internet, that we're going to have a conversation for them to pull the trigger. And we were having that conversation today, Colin, where you're like, look, man, the day is coming that someone puts $180,000 on their credit card. It's just a matter of time. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. And easier for them, easier for us, right? Easier for everybody. And that's the whole purpose of why there's an online platform. But, when I'll use myself, but then we're backing it out and actually we're regressing, right?
Well, you're not regressing per se. I think it's a new concept. I think the idea of selling expensive things through an online portal is a new concept.
Yeah,
but I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it absolutely makes a lot of sense. And I think we live in a time where people are smarter than ever. They have access to more information than they've ever had. They can ask ChatGPT how much a truck is. They don't have to necessarily check your website, right?
That's true.
And so when we live in a time where everything is accessible, when all the information in the world is at your fingertips, a question away, stop hiding it. Just put what your prices are.
Yeah, true.
Everyone's going to figure it out anyway.
Yeah. Well, and why are we hiding it anyway?
Exactly.
Right? Our whole purpose is selling. Like that's how we exist.
Yeah. I guess the other side of this is that you've had a lot of success since you've gone live with your new website, right? And really most of the things that you sell are quite complex. I think everything is, for the most part, unless it's, replacement parts, over, let's call it $2,000 or $3,000 for a starter vacuum or something like that.
Yep.
And it doesn't sound like you've had any challenge whatsoever selling them online.
Yeah, no, even up to, we've had really, really good for us, $12,000, $15,000 orders.
Wow.
And what we learned though, is just on the information end, we always feel like, oh, they don't need to know that, or nobody cares about that. More information is better, right? No matter what, I don't care what your vocation is or what you're selling or what you're promoting, more information is better. And if somebody doesn't need it, they don't need to read it.
Yes.
But if you don't have enough, they click to the next one. That's when you lose them as a potential customer.
More is more.
More is better, right?
Although I would say this, I would make one comment on that, Colin. You have to give them the option to read the rest.
Right.
And have a small blurb with an option for more. Because
that's right.
Even though more is more, and there will be that technical guy who is comparing apples to apples exactly right down to the power of the motor, not everybody needs that or wants that.
No, and that's why it's very, very simple in my world. We can attach a manufacturer's data sheet or something like that. But the one thing, I'll use my example, and everybody can use it for how they do their business, is if I sell you this, but I don't tell you what it's compatible with or what year from this year to this year, it's kind of like I use the example this week. If I go into a store like a Canadian Tire or a Napa and say, I'm looking for a windshield wiper, well, it has to fit 2012 to 2016, this vehicle or whatever.
Yes.
If it doesn't say that, how can I possibly buy it? Right.
Yeah.
So I look at our services. If we're not answering what they're looking for, how do we expect them to stay on or to even inquire? How can VJ, how can your services, help me? You have to be descriptive and you have to lay it out there. And that's where more is better. Or Kelly, you're selling biz dev or coaching, right? If you don't tell us every little piece of how that coaching is going to help us or what you can give us, what you can equip us with, next, they keep searching and I'm going to search until I find the answer, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to hit pay now when I find the answer. I don't care if I look like me or I look like VJ or I look like Kelly. I'm looking for the answer. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, what's interesting is to a point, right? Like to a point, you need to have all that information. But once you're Hypervac Technologies and you're known worldwide and you were just a leader in the space, that also works for you. People don't necessarily need all of the information when they know that if they buy a Hypervac truck, they're going to get, top of the line unit.
Yeah.
That being the other side of it, like your brand and your reputation matters just as much as your descriptions.
For sure.
So I guess maybe my argument would be, until you have an excellent brand and people do know who you are, you should be working on doing that. And maybe you do need a little more information, but I think there's something to be said about being the Nikes of the world or the Under Armours of the world, where it's like, or the Hypervacs of the world, where it's like, you just know if I buy something from them, I know what to expect.
Yeah, very good point. Right. VJ, what's going on there? I see you're heating up.
No heating up. Actually, I was excited as always
excited.
I do.
It's all good.
Always excited about the conversation that goes in for 52 weeks, 53rd week today.
That's wild.
So, speaking of time, I just want to connect the dots in terms of speaking of time. I didn't realize many things. And when we actually say we are throwing darts, and actually at that moment, it feels like throwing darts. But over time, we don't know what momentum it actually builds.
Yeah.
Right? the real regret is not throwing the darts, actually. The real regret is not trying. So yesterday night, while I was like checking the site and other thing, I was also checking the stats of like our site for Zaddle.com. So every month, guys, like we are getting 35,000 visits to our site. 35,000 visits. No kidding, actually. I mean, Canada had, I think, 24,000 and the US had another 15,000 and the rest of the world. So about like 35 plus thousand visits we are getting every month. And over last three and a half years, what we have actually consolidated, it actually looked like throwing darts, but actually I was putting together a plan in terms of like, wow, Zadwell could be a business school of itself in terms of like, we are already having the conversations with the founders and CEOs and thought leaders already. Like we literally did like different parts from the worldwide. And we are also like anyone who wants to be a business founder, they need a business identity, which is a website, which we already provide as a service. And if they want to launch an app or a dashboard or any kind, like a high-tech app, we already have that through the MVP program. Right. And if they want to like feature more, they can be a sponsor, which is fine for the podcast. That's fine. But most recently that we were excited also about the trusted partner program, which is basically, okay, if you want to expand in Alberta, you want to expand in Canada, you want to expand in US, every month I get at least 50 to 75 requests. People asking, not in Canada, but from outside of Canada, like from the eastern part of the world, asking like, hey, is there something that we could do together? Right? I think we have a way to monetize that. I'm just like, I think we have like 4 or 5 different avenues. And of course, the traditional consulting world. I didn't mean to like pitch Zadwell today, but at the same time, meaning the translation of time, these are darts at that moment, but actually we have built like a package that any business founder can come in and then like get into these different programs actually of different kinds. So that's the ecosystem that we are building for a business founder. For anyone, have a conversation, build whatever you want with us, and then we'll help you grow. That's the idea. So I'm really excited about like where it is taking us. There's no growth without the challenges. So I'm growing through those challenges. So every time I see a challenge, I'm saying, okay, fine, it's part of the growth. Is how I am perceiving it. So definitely excited of how time has helped us, and on the contrary, also like thankful to all those people who shared their time with us.
Yeah,
like you, Colin, and you, Kelly, and like and then all the guests on the show. So yeah, that's where we are going. With time.
I am.
Anyone, anyone who is doing a business today, and if you're selling globally, I think you have to put your ticket price there and then start selling like boom, boom, boom. 3 clicks, they should be out of the site, buying your product and get out. Provide enough information so that they can make a decision. Click, it should be done. And I literally, like I call someone, like literally a friend and like a business contact. Hey, do you want to buy this? $3,000, like boom, boom, boom. It happened in 15 minutes. Like they live like 8,000 kilometers away. Yeah. So I think that's what people should be doing. So just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's we're heading to an easy buy kind of world. And, I was taught a long time ago, the more steps you have in anything, the less likely it is for people to do anything with it. Right. And I'm even learning that with like a simple form that I've created for my new show. I used to work there, and I think I've revised the damn thing 6 or 8 times already to get it to something that people can complete in like 2 minutes, because most people don't want to fill out a form, no matter how small it is. And so you have to keep finding ways to reduce the amount of steps, but still get everything that you ultimately need, right? So it's just it's a trial and error thing. And, most of us are trying things and hoping for the best, right? We've been doing this show now for a little over a year. And I have a fun stat to share with you guys. I know we've talked about it over the past little bit, but we'll let our audience in on it. So we've been obviously trying to figure out how the heck we grow this damn thing on YouTube. And for the longest time, we've always shared clips, but we were sharing like 5 clips at a time, 4 clips at a time. And over the past 365 days, we had a total of 166,000 clip downloads, which sounds awesome on the whole. But if you look over about 4 months ago, we started sharing, instead of just sharing 4 clips, we started sharing about 40. Now, the difference here, guys, is absolutely massive. And this was just a try something and see what happens. So if over the past 365 days, we've had 166,000 downloads, in the past 90 days, we've had over 100,000 from that small change.
Wow.
So it's sometimes something you're already doing, but maybe you just need to do a little bit more of it to get that result you're looking for. It's not a big change. Maybe sometimes it's just a little bit more of the things that are already working.
Yeah. One thing in terms of like saving time, like I will tell what I'm doing in terms of like, and definitely I think this is a time killer. And if I recently I saw a text that billionaire founders are actually switching the smartphone to a flip phone.
Interesting.
I saw that like, just a week ago. And the reason they share, because they switch to a flip phone, because they don't want their attention span is very limited, and they don't want their attention span to be consumed by something else, because every swipe, every click is some kind of a message marketing in a different way, and they try to get your attention, right? They do different things, and like it's just like a shocker, and like and then you're glued to the next 3 minutes, the next hour disappears, right? So I think what they're doing is actually brilliant. I was thinking about it like the 6 years ago. I think what we are actually thinking about we should start doing, rather, I was telling my wife, because like this phone is actually a time killer and a major distraction actually from different things. I think going back to a normal non-smartphone is the smartest thing to do in 2026 is what I have come to conclusion. So
get yourself a dumb phone. Man, I don't know if I could go back. I got to be honest with you, VJ. I know it's a time waster, but my God, I love my smartphone.
I do too. Everyone loves that. Like, that's the real problem.
I don't think I'm willing to go back, even if it is a bit of a time waster. I think maybe what's more important is just that you're time blocking for the right things, right? So for me, it's like, yes, I could say that I'm on my phone all day, and I am a lot of the time. But when it is time for me to make my calls, when it's time for me to do client work, when it's time for me to do that stuff, my phone gets flipped over, gets turned to silent, and I just get to work, right? I think a lot of it too is, I don't want to say self-control, because I think we all have a lot of self-control. I don't think it's fair to say anyone doesn't. I don't think it's self-control you need. I think what you need is simply focused work. We've been talking about time this whole thing. The best piece of advice that I can give anybody for time is that most of the things you want to do actually don't take that long. And I think that's quite surprising for a lot of people, because we look at a 40-hour work week and all these things we have to do, right? But is it really all these things we have to do? I challenge you on that. I think most of the things you have to do, aside, unless you're a podcaster doing audio editing where I have to listen to the damn show 3 times, but unless you're doing that, if you're just doing regular everyday work, your business calls, your client work, whatever that is, most of those things can be executed in hours of focused time, not a week, hours. And so my argument would be, one, what are you doing? Are you doing focused work? Are you shutting everything out and just doing the thing you need to do for that hour and a half? I think that simple change can be extremely effective for a lot of people. The other thing is this. When was the last time that you did a move the needle list? And I know I'm the move the needle preacher. I talk about it all the time in Catalyst Club. I talk about it all the time on my own show. But really, guys, there's a lot of power in simply writing out the 5 to 10 things that move the needle for you in your business every week. And if you do that on a Monday, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to do at least half that list. And if you do half that list for 52 weeks, you make pretty massive strides.
Yeah, you know what? Not to toot my own horn, but I will for a second. I think beginning of the year, that was one of my things is I'm going to try as hard as I can to answer every call, right? That I mean, outside of spam calls, right?
You're not taking that call from TELUS?
Could be spam, yeah. But answer every call, and also prioritizing what I need to be responding to, right? Because I can respond to every text, to every email, and all that does, that throws me in a loop.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm in that endless loop. Is it important? And what boundaries am I setting up around that? And it's made a world of difference. Like I'm really trying mentally every day when I leave my office or wherever I am, I'm trying to act like I'm going on vacation tomorrow. So I have to get everything done.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing myself to go, oh, I'm just not going to get that done. right? Like when VJ said, "Oh, your website's down," I'm like, "Oh, I got to figure this out."
Yeah.
And although I knew in the back of my mind what it could be, but I still knew I have to get that done, right? There's certain things until so I've really prioritized, and then going forward, I'll just use like in real estate. I look at my schedule and people reach out, and I'm like, "Oh, how about Saturday? How about Friday afternoon?" Knowing that I'm time blocking, right? Whereas I can chase my tail all day long, right? And you know what happens when a dog chases its tail? It never actually catches it, right? You get the odd bite and hang on, but you just look stupid most of the time.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like we're only in February, but I can see already, and the way I feel and the way I'm accomplishing things, it's just so much better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's very basic. Like, I mean, we all know we need to do that, but do we actually do it? I know
Well,
last year I didn't.
And I think
Right.
it's funny that you mentioned the chase your tail thing, because I think the most important thing that leaders can do is focus in on the things that matter. Because if, you run a large organization,
Yeah.
Colin, you have lots of employees. If you were dealing with employee challenges all day long, you simply could not deal
Yeah.
with the things that actually move the needle for you and your business, which is what you need to be doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I think as leaders, especially as managers, executives, things like that, it is our duty to handle the things that make a difference for us and our business. And yes, it's still our duty to help those employees, but you have to ask yourself, if I'm dealing with challenges, there's always going to be a challenge. I worked for an incredible leader once. I'm going to shout him out. His name was Paul Hola. He used to run a large scale maintenance organization in the city. And he gave me some of the best advice that I've ever had. And what he said was, Kelly, I probably get 100 things that come across my plate every single week that are challenges from the field. Do you know what I do? I wait. I wait. I don't respond immediately. I give it 8, 10 hours before I get back to them. And you know what I find? 9 times out of 10, the issue resolves itself without me having
Yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's amazing advice, because most people are good at figuring out their own problems.
Yeah.
It's if they get into the habit of always asking you and you always solve their problems, well, they're not learning how to do it for themselves anyway. That piece of advice kind of blew my mind. And it's simply don't immediately respond to things. Give them time. I think you will find a lot of the time the situation resolves itself without you ever having to get involved.
Yeah, it does. I think you're 100% right on there. Jumping, like sometimes when we, say I get a text or an email and I jump too quickly, right, and it's not well thought out, I'm usually not providing the right answer as well, right?
Let's wrap up. I just had one last finishing thought, if I can
Sure.
I share that. I was thinking in terms of like also time and also learning. Reread. They talk about rereading the books, right? Like read the books again that you read like years ago. I also want to share the concept like reread your own posts actually, because I read something that I wrote like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, because like every post that is written is actually well thought out at the time, at least like you think it is the greatest post ever. You put your efforts to write it. And after a year or 2 or 3, you go back and read it. There's so much wisdom in each post that you have written, like not to any other person actually. Your own posts are actually golden for you because you thought out to be the greatest wisdom post at that point of time. So I read some of the posts like that I read like several years ago. So I encourage people to do that. I think that's a fantastic learning experience from your own content.
Yeah.
So do you wanted to share that? So anyway,
I like that.
They say it's the same thing, VJ, if you listen to your old podcasts.
yeah, yeah. It's beautiful actually how it kind of comes through actually.
Well, it's interesting because as a podcaster, right, we make so much content. Like, like I'm pushing out 3 to 4 shows a week on average between this show, when I used to work there, going when, with the BDP. It's a lot, right?
Right.
And you're always so focused on what's next. Like you're always like, okay, like I got to keep up with my production schedule. I got to keep going, keep moving forward. But it's like, man, I feel like there could be a lot of power in going back and just listening to what you were doing in the beginning. And I think on one level, for me at least, it would be cool to see how far we've come. Like we're celebrating 3 years this week. I just want to shout that out. That's amazing. 3 years of the BDP. Crazy, hard to believe. But like, man, the amount of growth I've had since episode 1 to today is astronomical. I would say that's been the best part about having a podcast is the personal growth that comes from it. All those conversations, all those people you meet, all that time to learn and takes and implement some of those recommendations, right? I feel like I've changed a lot in 3 years. And so, yeah, maybe it doesn't hurt to go back and re-listen just how far you've come, if nothing else.
Yeah, why not? All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of season 2, show 53. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you got some value today. Thank you again.
Later, hustlers.
Later.